as a young man, and I always say that it sounds like I'm about to sing a song, but we're going to go back in time. I am a fan of a series, and I'm a fan of a bunch of them, but this one's called Lord of the Rings. Now, Lord of the Rings for me, they're books, whatever, but they were animated movies. It came out in the 70s. I never saw the live action movies, and obviously, if I was born in the 80s, I only seen these cartoons, and I only seen The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, the gangster version.
Well, when I was young, I never watched any of those. This is my first go round on the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, well, I'm J.R.
And I'm Stacey.
What's going on, everybody? This is your boy King Germ, one half of Pod and Saved Our Marriage. Each and every Friday, Queen Germ and myself drop an episode to show the people how Pod and Saved Our Marriage. Now, we're not like most married couples. Most of the time we disagree, but that's the beauty of the show. So, when you get through listening to Sparrows UnderReview, come give us a listen. Each and every Friday on any DSP, go look for Pod and Saved Our Marriage.
Whoa. I love that Roadcaster.
I do too.
It's like you can do the intro and then you just come in there. I took a sip out of my alcoholic drink.
I enjoyed that. Thank you, King Germ, for that introduction.
Yeah,
it is
shout
amazing.
out King Germ, motherfucking King Germ.
Make sure you go listen to his show, Pod and Saved Our Marriage.
Make sure you go listen to Queen Germ's show along with her co-host, King Germ.
Oh,
Pod
snap.
and Save My Marriage.
Okay. So let's jump right into this. So, like I said, I have never delved into the Lord of the Rings world until this weekend. And so I'm probably going to butcher it. So this is the Lord of the Rings, the War of the Rohirrim, the 2024 version.
Yes.
Which is an anime fantasy film.
Yeah, and that was a different direction to go with it. Based on characters created by J.R.R. Tolkien. This movie was produced by New Line Cinema, Warner Brothers Animation, Domain Entertainment, Solo Entertainment, and associated with Wingnut Films.
So all of this information you can find on Wikipedia. Make sure you go donate so they don't shut it down. This is not sponsored, but, we get those at the beginning every time we log on to Wikipedia, and that's where we get our information. So if y'all want to support them, please head over and do that.
So everybody, one thing that's real quick. This movie is 183 years before Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings film trilogy, and it tells the story of Helm Hammer.
Now, is the Peter Jackson's version the live action that you were talking about?
Yes.
So not the cartoon versions?
Yeah, not the cartoon version.
Okay.
One quick spoiler I'd like to say, and here's the thing. If you can, watch the older ones after you watch this. It will make perfect sense to you to watch the older animated ones, which, remember, these are from the 70s. These movies didn't make it. I think the last one, The Return of the King, which I've never seen, came out in 1980. But the reason I say watch them is because this movie that we're about to talk about, this movie sets the tone for that movie, and it gives you certain cues that'll come up later. And if by chance you've already watched the live action versions, you will know the cues as soon as you see them.
Right, because you were able to point out, this is from that, this is from that. If you hear this character, they're going to be able to tie it in. And it took a while to get to those characters, but they were able to tie it in with the newer age stuff. Or, well, not newer age. The earlier films, I guess is how I want to say it.
Yes, they were. So one thing that I was able to pick up here very quick was that they did the same thing that Aliens has done with their movies. They made this movie unlike the other movies.
Okay. So you don't have to watch the other movies first to be able to enjoy this one.
Right, because this movie is actually the prequel. This is what starts the story of Lord of the Rings.
Kind of like how Fast and the Furious franchise kind of went out of order there for a bit.
Yeah, and sort of how Alien Romulus plays a period in the Prometheus story.
Okay.
So this is a very good movie in the sense that it's easy to get into and it doesn't hurt you.
Right. Now, see, never experiencing the Lord of the Rings world, going in, I thought it was going to be a lot different than what it was, just because I'm very judgmental. I hear people talk this, I hear people talk that. They give their opinions, so I form my opinions based off of what other people say. And that's another reminder here that we want to let you know. these are just our opinions, how we feel about it, what we like, what we don't like. We always encourage you to watch the films that we watch as well. That way you can either comment on the post or the episode or something and let us know whether you agree, what we didn't understand about it. Like maybe we missed something. You know, we want to invite you to argue with us basically in a nice way.
Okay. Now, one thing I want to do here real quick, and this is for all film buffs. This movie was fast-tracked to prevent New Line from losing the film adaptation rights to Tolkien's novels. One thing that I will say is I don't think this film was rushed, but this movie here has a lot of different parts in it that purists and people that know the R.R. Tolkien books will kind of like,
So is this one a book already, or did they make this completely freestanding of the book, or do you know?
They made this freestanding of the book, but they went in and took the history from the Lord of the Ring books that were made in 1954 and 55.
Okay, so like if something was missed in, let's say, the first movie that they did based off of the book, they kind of tied it in with this.
Yes,
because we know that the films are not going to include every important detail from the books. We've learned that from Twilight and Harry Potter in my experience. And I'm sure you have a few books that are the same way to you.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So it's not necessarily based off of a book. It just takes the important details of the history from the book.
Right, from the appendix
Okay.
of the book. So like the little area where it tells you about the history and this and that, like the dictionary type part.
And then they kind of put their in between in it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
I like how they did it though.
yeah, very influential in a sense like this. When they did this made the most sense for like I said, it's very easygoing. Now, I will say this up front. This is a violent movie. Like, they do not leave a stone unturned.
Yeah.
But what I did like about this is that they're very minimum, is realistic to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
There are some fairy tale portions to it, but that stuff, when it happens, it makes sense for the characters because the way that you see it,
Right.
especially with the Wraith, which was the father when he
Oh, okay. Yeah.
when he
Yeah.
disappeared. When he
So this is your warning. We're 7.5 minutes in now. So if you've listened to our episodes before, you know that we don't care to give spoilers. It's your decision whether you want to stick around and listen to it. If you decide that you have not watched the movie yet and you want to watch it before you continue this episode, go ahead and hit that pause button. Go buy you a movie theater ticket or however you choose to obtain the movie and watch it, and then come back and let us know what you think and finish the episode.
And this movie was seen at a beautiful theater called the Epic Theater. It's a movie chain that
Yes.
has immersed screens. In this case, it was a 4K upscale,
Yes.
which that's very delightful to the eyes. And if you have to know about any of that stuff, please come over to West Virginia Uncommonplace. I do have a series from last August. That
Shameless plug on this.
Yeah.
On this series now.
that talks about this. Sorry, that is a shameless plug for that. So going into the story it's medieval. It is Game of Thrones without dragons.
That's exactly what I said to you.
Yeah,
I said I feel like it's Game of Thrones without the dragons and sex.
right. And what I would say about an age group, you'd have to be about the problem with this
Well,
is
I mean, it all depends on your mental capacity too. Like, there's going to be children out there that are going to be able to follow this and they're going to enjoy it. Because if I remember, I don't think it wasn't vulgar, right?
it wasn't vulgar, but it had that violence.
Right.
in
It had a lot of violence. But, you know what your kid can handle. So you need to use your best judgment. There is a lot of violence. And I think there's one scene that could be a little triggery.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think it was bad. I'd let my nephew watch it.
And for an animated movie
Mm-hmm.
of this structure and of adult themed, teenager themed,
Yeah.
'cause it's a PG-13 movie.
Gotcha.
I think it is.
Oh, I don't know. Is that?
And
Yeah.
running at right around 134 minutes. It's a long movie to a degree, but it left me like I wanted to know more about Hellhammer, the father, the
Okay.
king, because the king,
Right, because let's just jump into it. How do you kill a man with one punch?
right?
How do you kill a man with one punch?
So
I need to know how he became that strong.
Right. So here's my thing. Like the father in this thing, he's minding his own business. He's like, my daughter, she's not going to marry this dude from
Right.
somewhere. And
Right.
this husky
My daughter's
dude,
not going to marry your son.
right. And this husky dude is like, nah, B, we not going to do it like this. Me and you going to take it, like I'll beat your ass in front of your people.
Right.
And then the king, he's all just and stuff. And he's like, we won't do this in front of people. We'll take it to the streets, B. And, he took it to the streets. And Wolf's father, what is Wolf's father's name? Freka is talking mad junk.
Right.
So he delivers a 3-piece combo, a hit to the gut.
Well, first, the whoever said, listen, we're not going to do this in the castle. So, the king, he said, all right, let's take it outside.
Yeah.
Like the lady on Dr. Phil, Catch Me Outside.
So when he gets outside, Freka catches it from Helm.
Mm-hmm.
Helm Hammerhead, yeah, that's his name. Hell Hammerhead Hand gets in there, and I'm talking about. And if you look at the movie like cover of it, you can see the father, and he just looks tough.
Right.
Like you don't even see. All you see is Wolf on the front. You don't even see his father, so his father was weak in the game. I wish I had seen the poster before I went in.
Mm.
Maybe it would have foretold the story. But his dad was running that.
It surprised me.
But
I was impressed. I was like, dang.
Yeah, and like I'm just talking about, you thinking this old dude is gonna get knocked the fuck out? Because I'm talking about Big Boy pieced him up like bong 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 bong.
Right.
He gave him a 3-piece combo: hit to the stomach, 2 hits to the face, left, right. And then Helm fixes his face. Right. He fixed his face, and his face is like boom boom. He's like, "Is that all you got, player?" He don't say it like that, but I'm just giving you that kind of feel.
Your interpretation of it,
yeah, that's how. Because dude was talking reckless, and the next thing you know, he hits dude. Bam. Like bow. That's what the hit sounded like.
Wolf goes, you killed my father.
Yeah, and it's like he hit him so hard it was like a strike that you get when you going bowling on a Friday night or something.
Right.
Like he got hit that hard, and dude's neck just turned.
Right.
It wasn't even like he broke his neck. So it was like all that tomfoolery. He's like, I hit you with this just might. Boom.
And like you said, you mentioned earlier about feeling rushed. I do feel like the point of the story was rushed, but it took forever for the key points to come out.
Right.
Because you have your introduction, and I love how they introduced the eagle. I'm going to call it an eagle. I don't know what it is.
It was a little giant-ass griffin eagle. It was an eagle.
Yeah, but to me, that's what it is, basically a big old bird. I loved how they tied that in the beginning and how they tied it into the ending of the movie.
Right.
I'm not going to go into details, but I love how they do that.
And it signified in the movie poster also, if you see it. Have you looked at the poster? I hadn't looked at the poster in good detail, but yeah, it tells a lot in the poster. So I think from now on I'm gonna start looking at movie posters before I go watch the movies.
But that's the fun of it, though. Like you see a movie, you go watch it, and you form your opinion, and then you get to pick out all these little. Let me throw in my Taylor Swift jargon. You pick out all these Easter eggs from the poster. And mind you, at the time of this recording, this movie has only been out for 2 days. It came out on Friday 13th.
And for the video game heads, if anybody's played Shadows of Mordor or that other game that Warner Brothers made that's based off Lord of the Rings, you understand when I say Wraith. If you do need a reference to anyone that plays video games, please go play Shadows of Mordor. Yeah. And this will tell you about the power that the father got. Like this story was all over the place.
Right. So it's not very well known in the movie that he has a power. And I think that's where I got the most confusion from, because like you said, if he does have some type of superpower, I want to know, where did he get it from? And how is he able to still keep it? And does it get passed on, or does it end with him? Is it a blood thing? Is it like a spell thing? Like, where is the wizard tie-in? Did he tie in with the wizard somewhere? Like it leaves it open to have many questions. So, maybe there's going to be another movie explaining that, or maybe it's just us putting our own spin on things and imagination of how it happened.
And what I would like to tie into this, like, and I'm just like I'm going in on this because this was
I
like
know we're a little bit of everywhere right
Yeah,
now, but that's okay.
yeah.
We're glad that you guys are sticking in,
yeah, this is
hanging on for whatever you're hanging on to.
So for a story arc, the first hour is rough.
It is. It takes a long time. I think, like I was talking about earlier, I enjoyed the first part, and then all of a sudden, the dude dies, and then Wolf gets banished, and it doesn't tell you exactly how many years later, right?
Right.
So
just gave
it
a weird
says
number.
years later or whatever, all of a sudden he's back and things are happening, and basically they get thrown out of their kingdom, and they have to go survive in basically a rock castle is the best way to explain it.
Right. And they go stay in a rock castle, and the place that they go stay in will later become a part of the series.
Okay.
So that's something that's really important about that place that they're in. You'll learn about that
So
later.
you don't have to watch the stuff beforehand, but if you've watched it, you're going to know where these little pieces tie in.
And so I knew exactly where they were and what was going on.
Okay.
And the power struggle worked out fine for me.
Okay.
It was just...
Right. I like how they did it. It was a very good movie. It's just like you said, there's some parts that it was just a little weird.
Right.
Like, really? Is that really how it's going to happen? Like, because let's just throw another spoiler out there. You got dude that escaped a castle and was out there killing all these men. But at the end of the movie, when they attack and overtake the castle, where are all these men coming from if he had supposedly killed so many of your guys?
Right.
That's what I don't get.
Right. Or did they just have extra people in the mountains we didn't know about?
Right. Right.
And then the other thing that kind of threw me off that was just a negative in the movie is like how underwhelming the main boss was in a fight.
Wolf?
Yeah.
I knew he was going to be a pussy from the beginning.
Well, his own dude called him out as a coward.
Right. Right. The way that he ran after the dude killed his dad, I knew he was going to be a little pussy. Like, I'm sorry for continuing to use that word, but yeah.
It is what it is.
If you kill my father, I'm going to fight to the death and die myself.
Right, but he would have got done up because dude choked the shit out of him.
He would have. He would have died as well, but if you killed my dad, I'm going to die too. Right. I'm going to take out as many people as possible in the process.
And at least he would have been a song that the son would have sung on the joint. Now, that's one thing I tell you right there.
Uh-huh.
That was vicious how Wolf killed both of his sons.
Now, see, I don't think he killed both of the brothers.
He didn't kill the one with the arrow, but I mean,
I don't even know if he killed anybody, to be honest.
Yeah, he slipped the neck out of one brother, for no reason.
He
when
did.
dude told him not to.
Okay. Yeah, right.
But he killed. He made
right because he said they agreed to surrender or let him go or whatever, and yeah.
Right, and that was crazy because he killed him. Both brothers died within 2 days of each other. Like that
or even a day.
It might have been 12 hours at least.
Right, because that part was really rushed because, and that's the thing that the cousin and the daughter was trying to tell him. Like, listen, he's not going to do what you think he's going to do. He is coming straight here, and things are going to happen. And Daddy Dearest, he knew everything, and he didn't play along, or he didn't believe the nephew and the daughter. Damn.
Right, and I can feel that. Now, for me to wrap up my portion, because, this is a good movie, and I suggest you go see it to people.
Right, because we did leave a lot of it out.
Right, so definitely go check it out if you can. Or, it will be available probably at the beginning of the new year or sometime. It'll be available.
Like we said, it's just new, so it's probably going to be in there at least a month by itself.
Right.
Or a month before it's on streaming.
Right, it'll be streaming probably middle of January. But, I mean, it should hold out past Christmas. It should have came out 1 week later, but whatever to that. Here's my thing. This is a good movie. It's something that if you need, this would be like my winter watch. I could watch this along with the animated series for it or animated movies and be fine. Okay. Is this something that goes into my top 100s of movies? No.
And I will tell you, I looked at the voice cast and I don't recognize any of these names. And that's not in a bad way. Because you're getting people out here, they're voice actors, so it's completely different than seeing a You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, it's not like it's
Yeah.
it's not a who's who of who we would know.
right. And that was fine because I mean, it was still good. I think they made some great choices with who they picked as their voice cast. So I did see that this was supposed to be released in April, but it was another victim of the strike.
Okay.
So it got pushed back to December. So hopefully we are able to get the rest of those soon. Like everybody that was working on something that spent all the time and money developing and writing and producing and everything that just goes into that. Like hopefully they're able to get their stuff released soon.
And I agree with that. And the movie had pretty good music and stuff like that. I would say that this will be a movie that if someone were like, if I would have had to match you series for series, like how you gave me Twilight,
Yeah.
I would give you the Lord of the Ring animated version instead of the live action, because if this movie had been made live action, I probably wouldn't have watched it.
See, I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday. I feel like doing it in a live action the way that they did it would have been too difficult. I'm not saying it would have been impossible. I feel like it would have been a little difficult and it would have cost a lot more money, because where are we at? We are at day 2. Their budget on the animation part was $30 million, and their weekend box office as of right now, like I said, 2 days later, it was only 10.3 million.
Right.
So they haven't overcome their budget yet, which they still have plenty of time. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but you know, you could just imagine how much that budget would have been had they done it a live action.
Yeah, it probably been like 200 million or something. Or if you look at the other Lord of the Rings, they were very expensive movies too.
Yeah.
So I want to say that this movie, you know, on a rating scale, because we have a different rating scale for everything we do. This movie,
We make it up every time we talk.
This one, I'm going to consider this. This would be my. This is a movie. This is an animated movie that will make it to like. It'll definitely be on HBO Max because of Warner Brothers and all that shit. But what I'm saying is like TNT will play this.
Okay.
They,
You think?
yeah, it's not that rough that they won't play it.
I think it'll take a while for them to get it, in my opinion.
But
To me, let me rate it real fast. So, and then you can jump into the rest of yours. I feel like this is one that I might watch again, not anytime soon, just because it's not 100% my cup of tea. It did encourage me to want to watch the rest of them, because you said that they were kind of similar in that sense, and they weren't what I thought that they were. So I would like to do that with you at some point, to watch the rest of them. And like you said, you haven't watched the live action ones either, so that's going to be a new adventure for both of us. We did start the 1970s version.
We watched The Hobbit.
Yes. Was it The Hobbit? Okay.
Yeah.
The Hobbit, so which was 1970?
Yeah, it was something
like that.
78 something.
And
70 something. Yeah.
It was a little rough. But see, I don't know. I think I was just tired and confused.
Right. And I could see like it could be going somewhere. So other than that, I would say go see it. It's something that will finish the end of the year on a good note for me. It's not Wild Robot, but
right.
So it's decent.
Right. So kind of like I said, it's one we might watch again later on down the road or something if we feel like it, but it's not one that I'm going to watch all the time.
Well, I'm J.R.
And I'm Stacey.